Apple's foldable iPhone might finally be happening, and we've got all the latest rumors and leaks to break down. Before I get into those rumors, if you want to keep up to date with the latest Apple news and reviews, hit that subscribe button. From release timelines to foldable display tech, here's what we might expect from the so-called iPhone Fold. Let's dive in. Yep, Apple's rumored foldable iPhone might be closer than we think, and the leaks are really starting to pile up, especially here in March. It's crazy, we're talking about this folding device before we even get the iPhone 17 Air, Apple's next rumored redesigned iPhone. If you want to learn more about that device though, I have a whole other video linked here. There's a lot to cover, from folding patents to display partnerships, so let's break it all down. Starting with the big question, when's this thing actually coming out? Now, Apple hasn't said a word officially, no surprises there, but analysts and leakers have been guessing for years. Back in 2021, Ming-Chi Kuo thought we'd see it by 2024. Clearly that didn't happen. The latest rumors now point to late 2026 as the most likely option at this point. Some say production could start in the second half of 2025, which would line up with a 2026 release, if all goes smoothly. We've heard the same 2026 timing at this point from Ming-Chi Kuo, Mark Gurman, and Jeff Pugh, all with their own different sources. Honestly, that timeline makes sense to me for a brand new category like this, even if it is almost a decade after Samsung's first devices. But Apple likes to take their time, and they'd want to overcome many of the challenges that early competing devices suffered from. So, what's the point of a foldable iPhone? Well, think of it like this. You get a normal iPhone on the outside, and when you open it up, boom, you've got a mini iPad-sized screen. Great for multitasking, content, gaming, all without carrying two devices. And with Samsung leading the foldable market with the Z Fold and Z Flip, Apple's definitely paying attention. But let's talk about the biggest hurdle, the screen. Apple is reportedly working with Samsung and LG on what's called a hybrid OLED display. It means a mix of glass and flexible plastic. Glass gives you that premium Apple feel, and the plastic lets it actually bend without breaking. The big concern? Creases. Apple's supposedly going all in on a hinge design that avoids visible creases altogether. One leak even said the foldable iPhone might not even have a crease at all, and that would be huge. Anyone remember those early Samsung foldables that had bad visible creases and constantly broke from debris getting into the hinge? Those won't be issues here. Now, in terms of size, some say the foldable screen would be around 7.7 inches, which is basically like an iPad mini. The outside display, around 5.5. That's closer to the size of an iPhone mini. Maybe this would be the ultimate device to appease everyone. Perhaps not coincidentally, the aspect ratio should be about 4.3, the same familiar ratio we've seen on many iPads, including iPad Pro. There have also been some pretty wild patents. One shows the screen folding on the outside, like Huawei's design. Another shows a super complex hinge that supports the screen from underneath. And there's even talk of a stretchable display, but that's probably quite a few years off. Now, what about the specs? Take these with a grain of salt, we're still a ways out, but one leaker claims a 5,000 milliamp hour 3D stacked battery, a new Meta lens front camera, and rear main and ultra-wide cameras. It's reportedly been a struggle to create batteries small enough for such a compact device. One leaker says Apple is hoping to achieve the goal of slimming the battery by improving the display driver integrated circuit, or DDI. It's supposed to be thinner than the M4 iPad Pro when unfolded, only about 4.6 millimeters. The processor will likely be the A20 Pro, unless Apple decides it needs to move to an M series chip. Bottom line here, Apple's foldable dream is starting to look a lot more real. The tech is almost ready. Apple just has to make it perfect. The real question is, are foldables the future, or are they just a trend and hype? So what do you think? Would you buy a foldable iPhone, or would you rather see a foldable iPad first, or foldable Mac? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you want more updates like this, and don't forget to subscribe. Catch you in the next video.